let's talk about how to tool the block. Let's get into it. I think I'm one of the most qualified people to talk about tooling the block. It literally was my livelihood in high school. Roll the clips. I was a 5'10" outside hitter, and when you're under 6 feet, you really have to be creative, attacking the ball, and tooling is a great way to do that. So in this video, let's break down how to tool the ball, break down some principles, get into some examples like we love to do. I'm excited about this one, I really am. Big shout out to Dunk1065 for this video. Left a comment on one of my earlier videos asking if I could make a video on how to play off the blockers. The best way to do that is tooling. You're in for a treat, Dunk, because this video is gonna be a banger. All right, before we get into any film, I used to be an outside hitter in high school. One thing I always did before a game, if I could, you looking at the scouting report, or during the game itself, was identifying the blockers. Knowing what kind of blocker you're going up against makes a huge difference in how you're gonna attack them. So A, let's say blocker A, 6'3" and above, really tall, penetrates the net well, good feet, good timing, overall a good blocker. And then B, you have B blocker, shorter blocker, not as much of a high reach, not penetrating as much over the net, maybe a little bit more straight on the net than over with their hands, a little bit more open on their footwork. When you can look at who your blockers are before you ever take a single attack on the court, you're gonna save yourself a lot of errors, a lot of stuff blocks, because you know who you wanna hit into and you know who you wanna avoid. If there's a guy on the other side of the court that is not penetrating well, that is flat with their hands, that is poor in their timing, that's a guy that you wanna really go after, and that's a guy that you wanna tool. Now, with that being said, you can tool any kind of blocker. I don't care if he's 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. Let's jump right into some film and break it down, baby. All right, the first way to tool a blocker and to use a blocker effectively is a strategy that I feel like I came up with on my own. This was never really taught to me, but this was sort of learned from several years of playing volleyball. And it's what I like to call beat the block. If you can beat the block, you're gonna win 90% of the time, and you're gonna find way more kills when you're beating the block. Now, what does this look like? Here is a clip from one of our Marymount matches against Keene University. Serve comes in to Devin, and a set goes out to the pin, and Esteban uses this block. Now, this is a tool, right? But let's slow it down a little bit further and see, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Esteban on a go ball, he's moving before the ball is set, he's up in the air before the blocker even makes a move on his jump. He is almost attacking the ball before the player's arms are even above the net. When you're a hitter and you can identify that your blocker is late or your blocker's hands aren't going to be there in real time, that's when you know you want to hit at their hands, because their hands are going to be late and they're going to be in the line of path for the ball, and it's going to be an easy tool, an easy use, an easy kill. So Esteban on this ball gets up early, really quick snap, and hits the ball with pace and beats the block. If you freeze the frame here, you can compare the right side blocker and the middle blocker, and the middle was later but already has had his hands nearly above the net before the point of attack. So even though these guys are both making moves at similar times, he is a half second quicker, which is going to be a blocker you're going to want to avoid, okay? This is the guy you want to go at. This is the space you want to go at. And if you can beat that block, beat the hands, then you're going to find success. One other thing to note here is he's swinging high contact point. The ball is touching high on his hands and landing deep in the court. If you swing this ball low right over the tape, if he's late, there's a chance he gets there and this ball comes over on our side, which is not what we were looking for. So that is a simple way. Beat the block, have good timing, really speed up your arm swing so that as long as you're making the ball break the plane before their hands cross the net, you're going to be in really good shape. That's number one. On to number two. Number two, we want to aim for the outside arm. Particularly when we're thinking about tooling the block, we're focused on our pins, our outside hitters, our right side hitters. When we focus on the pins, we want to aim for the outside blocker's outside arm. You can see in this example here, ball comes into Grayson, set to Will, great ball, gives him a chance here. The middle is late, but Will sees this line opportunity, attacks that right blocking arm, and that ball goes flying out of bounds. Easy point. If he swings and aims at this other arm, this inside arm, this ball has a chance of dropping right down in this center of the court. But going on this outside arm has a great chance of success, and the reason for that is because most blockers aren't getting that exterior outside hip turned into the court, so they think they're facing the court when in reality this arm is facing that way, and that's why the ball typically shoots out away from the court. So we're always looking to aim for that right arm. Even if you're throwing the ball, pushing the ball into that arm, it's going to get you a lot of wins. Next video, same set against Lancaster Bible. A short tip, two-handed tip, which is a really good tip here. Colin makes a beautiful up and Grayson throws a wonderful turnaround go ball to the outside. This time aiming a little higher, a little deeper, finds that outside right arm on an unclosed seal block, and that ball goes flying out of bounds. Promise you, if you aim for that exterior arm, that outside arm, it's going to give you great success and you're going to find more kills. Last video I have for you guys is about swinging deep. All right, when it comes to swinging deep, no one does it better than Esteban. Ball here with a beautiful dig by Devin and a great set by Grayson. Look at his contact point here. It's at the second or third white rung up the antenna, and he swings high over top of this smaller blocker, and that ball goes shooting out of bounds. If he tries to bounce this ball and hit it right over the tape, who knows what can happen. That might fly right in his hands. But going deep is going to give you more success with the tool. It's not always about the bounce. It's not always about the highlight reel play. Tools are easy, they're effective, and they work on any blocker. So when you start implementing them in your game, you're going to start hitting at a higher percentage, which is what coaches love to see, and you're going to get more side outs, which is what your team also loves to see. Tooling means a lot to me because I'm not a guy that goes up and bounces every ball. I don't have the physicality, I don't have the vertical to do that, but what I can do is be creative and outsmart the blockers in a way that I'm going to put the ball with pinpoint accuracy where I want to, and probably 40 to 50% of my kills are coming off of tools from the block. When I was in college, some of my teammates got so annoyed at me tooling the block that they would just not block sometimes and avoid getting tooled because they think they had a better chance of digging the ball than they did digging it off of a use. So if that goes to show anything about my credibility on this topic, take that what you will. But that's all I got for you guys. Tooling the block, big part of the game, really big part of the game. You can see the evolution happening a bit with some creative tips around the block, using the block with two hands, using the block with a short tip. I'm really excited to see how that translates into the game in the next year or two. But yeah, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment, give me a video you want me to talk about, and we'll dive into it. As always, thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.